Oh, check him out. Whoa.
Hey, my car broke down. Can you guys give me a lift?
Sure, where are you going?
Hollywood Boulevard. I'm late for the premiere of Time Cop. Wait a minute. Are you guys from Candid Camera?
No, we're from Ben TV. I'm Spiro.
And I'm Blair. We're on our way to the Coburg Drive-In.
For a trashy night of fun.
We'll be looking at Pulp Fiction, Time Cop, and the New Zealand film Once Were Warriors.
And John Waters' new flick, Serial Mum.
No, that's next week.
Oh, but I mean, Kathleen Turner, she's like the 90s goddess of the drive-in.
Oh, did you see her in Crimes of Passion, that scene where she sodomizes the cop with his nightstick?
Yeah, that was like a date the other night.
Excuse me, where am I?
He's lost.
I'm lost. You guys are the ones driving on the wrong side of the road.
It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished them well. You could see that Pierre did truly love the mademoiselle. And now the young monsieur and madame have rung the chapel bell.
Hey, what do you guys think of the movie?
Fuck off.
Don't you hate that?
Hey, what?
Uncomfortable silences. Why do we feel it's necessary to yak about bull in order to be comfortable?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's when you know you found somebody really special. And you can just shut up for a minute, comfortably share silence.
Well, I don't think we're quite there yet, but don't feel bad. We just met each other.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and powder my nose. You sit here and think of something to say.
I'll do that.
Talk about blood and guts. God, Tarantino's first film, Reservoir Dogs, garnished him critical acclaim.
Taking his inspiration from torrid crime novels of the 40s, he has created a compelling but gratuitously brutal anthology.
The plot involves three intertwining narratives and a pair of twisted hitmen.
Straight out of a 70s exploitation film, John Travolta is brilliant as the bloated hirsute and smacked-up Vinnie Vega.
God, that sounds more like a bad lounge room act.
Not since Brian De Palma's Blowout has John Travolta sunk his teeth into such a meaty role.
I think he's been sinking his teeth into too many meaty roles. Oh, what a body.
He sure doesn't have the aerobicized body he had in Perfect.
I think that was a turkey he'd rather forget.
And our audience should forget the graphic rape scene in Pulp Fiction.
Yep, that's another example of Hollywood's homophobia at work.
I think Tarantino was trying to do an ode to John Borman's Deliverance.
Yeah, but all that was missing was those dueling banjos.
Chill out, honey bunny. All right, now tell her it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Promise her. I promise. Tell her to chill. Just chill out, honey bunny. All right, now tell me your name. Yolanda. All right, now Yolanda. We're not going to do anything stupid, are we? Don't you hurt him. Nobody's going to hurt anybody. We're all going to be like three little Fonzies here. And what's Fonzie like? Come on, Yolanda, what's Fonzie like? Cool. What? Cool. Correctamundo. And that's what we're going to be. We're going to be cool.
Want to dance? No. I do believe Marcellus, my husband, your boss, told you to take me out and do whatever I wanted. And now I want to dance. I want to win. I want that trophy. So dance good.
All right. It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished them well. You could see that Pierre did truly love the mademoiselle. young monsieur and madame have rung the chapel bell. C'est la vie, say the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell.
Uma Thurman steals the show as Mia, the sex-crazed, drugged-out wife of one of the heavies.
There were certainly a lot of drug references in the film, weren't there?
Blair, wipe your nose.
Tarantino may have convinced a few critics that he was satirizing violence.
But I thought the film amounted to nothing more than exploitation.
But I liked the film, though. I liked especially the scene where they were wiping the brains off the backseat of the car.
I'll admit he has talent. He's a master of irony.
And he has some of the freshest dialogue coming out of Hollywood, too.
But black humor isn't enough to save this film. I give it a 7.5.
That's not a rating, that's a Richter scale.
Well, what do you rate it?
I thought it was brilliant. I'm going to give it a 9.
That's how you gonna beat him, Butch. Keep underestimating. Yellow flowers on the wall, that don't bother me at all. Playing solitaire till dawn with the deck of 51. Smoking cigarettes and watching captains play. Now don't tell me I've nothing to do. It's good to see you. I must go. I know eyes are good fright. Not a country.
He's dead.
If you need someone to go to court, I will be glad to help, okay? That guy was a drunken maniac. He hit you, and then he crashed into that car.
Who?
Him.
I'll be damned.
I think it's time for a kiss break.
What the hell are you doing? Sunbathing? Asleep, Uncle. We were shacked out.
God, he didn't kiss Madeline Stowe like that in The Last of the Mohicans, did he?
Maybe it was typecasting. If there's a kiss you'd like to see on Kiss Break, why don't you drop us a line?
The address to write to is Ben TV, in Between The Sprockets, Kiss Break, Post Office Box 2248, Grand 3181.
Coming up, Sharon Russell speaks to Richard Owen from Microcosmos.
Right. What about actors or actresses?
Well, I know it's really fashionable to say this, but I really do admire Emma Thompson. I think she's a great talent. And it's sort of sad to see the British press bagging her at the moment because she's, well, I've noticed a lot of sort of negative comments about her acting, and I guess it happens to be when they're overexposed. I look at Meryl Streep, and it's happening to, you know, Julia Roberts and Winona Ryder. I guess they just get overexposed, and then the media see it as their task to, it's kind of fashionable to be the first person to drag someone down.
Tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah, the tall poppy syndrome, and it's really sad to see that happening to Emma Thompson because I think she's an enormous talent. Very gifted.
Do you think that could be linked to the fact that I've read that her next film is about, she plays the part of a lesbian?
No, I didn't know that. No.
I've read that. I don't know any details about the film.
Mm.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some link.
I don't know. I I think a really talented actor can play anything. I think female actors are better at this than male actors. I mean, the American actors are the worst in terms of not wanting to play gay males in film, and that's really appalling. So I think that the women that we see who play these sort of roles tend to gain more acceptance, or perhaps they're more encouraged to do that than the male actors are. I certainly feel safer doing it, I've noticed.
If ever you've read the credits of the movies and have wondered what some of the terminology actually means, this is your chance to find out.
Each week on Movie Speak, we translate some jargon. So if you want to know what this word means, why don't you write us a letter?
This week's term is a personal favourite of mine. It's the best boy.
Yum.
Well, hello everyone. I'm here at Coburg Drive-Ins in the projection room, and I have the projectionist here with me. This is Peter, and I'm Gigi Grundy, and I'm going to ask Peter a few questions about what happens in the projection room. Peter, first of all, tell me about this absolutely monstrous thing here, this big reel.
Well, that's where we store the film before we run it. It comes on small spools, we make it up on the bigger spools, and we load it onto the platter. Then we run it through the machine,
right,
and back onto the platter. So there's no handling of the film, there's no changeovers, it all just goes through one machine and it cuts down the workload.
Goodness me, well it's so much better than my little Super 8 I've got at home. How much would a setup like this cost?
Oh, you're probably looking about $100,000.
$100,000. Now you've been a projectionist here for on and off for 20 odd years, haven't you?
Yeah, about 20 years, yes.
So do you remember the first movie you ever saw here?
First movie I ever saw here, no, was, I can't remember what the first
Can't
movie
remember?
was. No.
What about the movie you remember the most, the movie you most enjoyed? Do you have a favourite movie?
The movie I enjoyed the most? Oh, help me.
Yeah. You see so many of them, don't you?
Yeah, you don't watch them really, you just sort of show them, and if they're in focus and the sounds are right, you tend to just go and worry about the other one.
Okay, so what, you know, when we're watching a movie and then all of a sudden there's this big burn mark that happens and everybody beeps their horns and flashes their light. What happens there? What's all that?
That's when we know there's something wrong, when all the horns toot. Right. We sit here and read the paper, and then when we hear the horns toot, we rush over. The film might have broken or the joint might have come apart, so we've got to fix it. And that takes a few minutes.
Now, how do you become a projectionist? Because you don't really see them advertised much at all.
No, well, in the old days, you used to go to RMIT, get a licence and do a course, but these days it's all deregulated and anybody can walk in the door and be a projectionist.
Oh, and do you know how long has this theatre been here? Do you know how long it's been here?
This theatre would have opened early 60s and then it closed for about 10 years and reopened 7 years ago.
Oh, terrific. Well, there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. So we'll sign off now. Until next time, Gigi Grundy saying goodbye. Say bye, Peter.
Goodbye.
Hey, we previewed Frankenstein last week, but we got to see it this week. What did you think, Spiro?
Well, I didn't think much of it, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought Kenneth Branagh's directing was just as over top as his acting. I mean, the man's got no lips.
I know, and we get to see his chest in almost every single frame of the movie, and it is not a good chest.
Did you like anything else about the film? I mean, any other actors?
No, I thought Helen Bonham Carter should have stuck to her Merchant Ivory films. She wasn't very good at all.
I was quite surprised by John Cleese. I thought he was quite good. I didn't even recognise him when I saw him.
Yeah, no, he's got these three-dimensional lips, teeth that sort of poke out.
Yeah. What about Robert De Niro as a monster? What did you think of him?
Unconvincing. It was more like the Elephant Man than a Frankenstein.
I couldn't understand why they got him, actually. I mean, he didn't really bring anything to that character.
No, not at all. And the art direction, a bit over the top, unbelievable.
Pretty boring too, I thought. Nothing very exciting about it.
What are you going to give it out of 10?
I don't know, 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. I'm going to give it 2.5.
I'll give you everything else. I'll send you all my dreams every day in a letter sealed with a kiss. I'll take you in the sunlight. I'll hear your
Condom machine in the toilet was empty, but hey, I brought some along anyway.
I think we should get back to the reviews.
All right.
Okay. Amongst all this contrived violence, there's a film that deals with the real issue, and that's domestic violence. So,
You never want to miss the
What do you girls think of this movie?
Movie? What movie? We're just here to see John Claw's ass.
I'll send you all my dreams every day in a land filled with a kiss. I'll see you in the sun.
You seldom find a film that works better than the novel it was adapted from. Once Were Warriors is such a film. It's based on a New Zealand novel which caused quite a stir. The author, Alan Duff, was accused of pandering to the right wing and selling out his people. But that didn't stop the book from winning some awards.
And it's actually become one of New Zealand's biggest box office hits, and like the book, it presents its Maori characters amongst an urban landscape of violence, boozing and gang rivalry.
But it avoids a simplistic analysis and shows some real people in facing some tough situations.
What are you doing home?
I got something for you.
Come on, hey, let's go.
Go on, open it.
What do you reckon, kids?
Yeah!
Oh my God!
Oh, Jake!
Bloody oceans of the stuff.
Me too.
Go on, kids, grab some. Take it outside.
Come on, hey, let's go and eat me outside.
The story centers on Beth Heckey, who is played by Rena Owen in the film. She is married to Jake, who beats her.
The couple have 5 children. One son ends up in a gang, the other son ends up in a welfare home, and just when their talented daughter Grace looks like breaking the mold, it all goes horribly wrong.
Nick Hick, eh? Son of Jake Damas. You a bit of a chip off the old block, boy? I'm nothing like him. Yeah, we'll see. So today's the day, boy. Judgment Day. How bad you want it? Didn't hear you, boy. I want a patch. You hear that, brothers? He wants a patch. He'll have to get through me first. Do right with the women, boy? I'll do right. Must be a fleshy smile, eh? Value your teeth. You like your pretty boy face. Call you Michael Jackson. Said we'll rearrange it for free. You think about that, boy, before you think about any patch.
Once Were Warriors is Lee Tamahori's first feature.
Actually, everyone involved seems to be new to film. Rubia Brown, who wrote the screenplay, is actually a playwright, and Tamura Morrison, who plays the abusive Jake, is normally a TV soap star.
And for the supporting roles, it sounds like they went to the local schoolyard and picked out different children to try out for the parts, and the results are really fantastic.
Rena Owen is nothing short of inspiring as Beth. Hers is the central character, and it's a story of taking back power.
What's for breakfast?
You want something to eat? Fix it yourself.
Give me a coffee.
Go and have a wash, Jake. Clean your ears out while you're at it.
What the fuck's up with you?
I'm not going to take this anymore. Do you hear me, Jake Hickey? No more.
Sitting there like Lady Bloody Muck. Telling me in my own house who I can and can't have here. Well, I've asked them back tonight, and you better be ready for it. Do you hear me? Your fat ass and get busy.
Oh, Grace!
Oh, leave that kid alone. You know, that's your problem. You spoil a lot of them. No one is also fucking screwed up.
It's got nothing to do with you, eh, Jake Hickey? You're such good father material! You chased Nick off! You couldn't give a damn about Boogie! gonna hurt my babies anymore. Not while I can do something about it. Oh, you want something to eat? Learn how to cook.
Domestic violence is a subject that most filmmakers would rather shy away from, but Tamahori casts enough light and shadow on the characters to make this quite a moving and complex story.
Beth tries really hard to keep her family together, but in the end she can't watch violence destroy her children the way it destroyed her. What did you think, Spiro?
Well, I thought the film was brilliant. It left a really strong impact on me, like, for days afterwards, and Reno Owen gives one of the best performances I've seen in a long time, and it's going to be one of the few occasions that I give a film 10 out of 10.
Well, there we have it, our first 10 out of 10.
What's the time, Mr. Wu? What's the time? 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 I say 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 20.
A must-see film. Is it time to go yet?
Not yet. We've got some holiday offerings, including the controversial adaptation of Anne Rice's novel, Interview with a Vampire.
Yep, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt at each other's necks. This is something I have to say.
Stand by. Going to air.
Stand by, Phil.
5,
Stand by music.
4,
Stand by now.
3, 2, 1.
And speed up.
Geritol presents the exciting quiz program, 21.
Give me the name of the explorer who discovered Mozambique.
Vasco da Gama?
Correct for 10 points.
Temple is an underdog. People root for that.
Sure, wasn't her be terrific?
Have you seen the ratings?
I'd like you to meet next week's challenger, Charles Van Doren.
Oh. How much do they pay instructors up at Columbia?
$86 a week.
Do you have any idea how much Bozo the Clown makes?
Gotta be James J. Braddock.
Correct, you have 21.
Is this guy a natural or what?
He's a natural.
$20,000.
What if we would ask you questions that you know?
Well, I think I'd really rather try to beat him honestly.
Just an idea.
Was that part of the test? Yes, I know his name. Halleck, General H.W. Halleck.
You have 21.
I'm constantly amazed at the facts these guys have at their fingertips.
It's been 9 weeks now.
And you've won how much?
$93,000.
Sir, I smell something. That little box in your living room is plugged into something crooked.
You lose when I tell you to lose.
Now I'm supposed to take a dive?
You know, you got these crackpots coming out of the woodwork. You don't have a shred of concrete evidence.
Young man, I am the president of the National Broadcasting Company.
I have you.
And boy, are you the one that's sweating?
Let him out, boys.
Charles Van Doren hails from one of the most prominent intellectual families in this country.
Dick's on a witch hunt. He thinks 21 is rigged.
Is it?
Hollywood Pictures presents John Turturro, Rob Morrow, Ray Fiennes.
You should see the letters I get. Kids are excited about learning.
In a Robert Redford film.
You set a real example for all us boys to look up to.
About the birth of television.
Just sign the statement. Sign the statement, Herb. Sign the statement. Who cares if it's true, huh?
And the end.
Heck.
Ban of a nation's innocence.
If someone offered you all this money, would you do it?
No.
And I would.
Professor, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask for your answer.
Quiz show.
Well, what do you say we get started?
So you want me to tell you the story of my life? I'll tell you my story. I'll tell you all of it. Gee, how? I'm flesh and blood, but not human. I haven't been human for 200 years.
From the novel by Anne Rice. From Neil Jordan, the director of The Crying Game.
I've come to answer your prayers. Life has no meaning anymore, does it?
His name is Lestat.
What if I could give it back to you? pluck out the pain and give you another life. One you could never imagine. I can see you lying on a bed of satin.
He chose one man. He gave him infinite power, eternal life, and a daughter who would be forever young.
This is the only real evil left.
And then he took the light of day.
You're a vampire who never knew what life was until it ran out in a red gush over your lips. I can't stand this any longer.
You made us what we are, didn't you?
God kills indiscriminately, and so shall we.
Do you like dying? You condemn me to hell!
Monster. One happy family.
Take her, Louis! End her suffering and yours! For do not doubt, you are a killer!
I want some more.
Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Stephen Ray, Antonio Banderas, Kirsten Dunst, and Christian Slater. Interview with the Vampire.
See you next week when we'll see Serial Mom.
And Madeline will be back next week. She'll be back from Alice Springs.
Providing a dingo don't take her baby.
So until next week, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Good night.